I did that. First communion, you dress up, if I remember correctly, you dress up in a white suit, and if you were a lady, you had a white dress and the whole bit. You see, it gives this impression that you're clean, okay? That this is life, but anything but. So you're receiving your first communion from the very small age, folks, a young age, all right? And you're being taught that wafer host is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. So from a youngster, that's what you're taught. So when you go to Mass and the whole 9 yards, you see the transubstantiation. You're being told, this is Jesus Christ. It is not Jesus Christ. It is a counterfeit Christ. I hope you see this. This is the counterfeit gospel of the Church of Rome. Absolutely. And that... I'll put a monstrance up on the screen there. I've shown this before. That monstrance in the center of that whole brass thing that you see, that sunburst design, in the circle there, that's a host. It's a wafer host, and they believe that is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. That's exactly what they teach. And they have it in that big thing. It shows royalty. They believe that's Christ. Oh, yes, they do. Don't ever forget that. So, if I were to tell you, that I could change a piece of bread into Jesus Christ, you would laugh at me. In New York City, a lot of times you come across people will be selling watches, and telling you they're expensive watches, maybe like an Omega watch, and you can get it for $20 or something. Or whatever. I've seen it happen on the street. I remember seeing a man, he must have just bought a watch, and he went up to the person who was selling it, and he wanted his money back. And the guy selling the watch says, get out of here. You're not getting your money back. You see, that's the way deception works, folks. A lot of con artists, okay? Now, if you saw another man a block away in New York City, in Times Square, and he had a little wafer host and told you, look, I can change this wafer host into Jesus Christ, you would laugh at him. You would laugh at him. But, that's what's done at the Roman Catholic Mass in transubstantiation. They're teaching you, if you're a Catholic, that is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ after the consecration part of the Catholic Mass. So that is the teaching, folks. And, in the catechism growing up, the Baltimore Catechism, if you look in the book on page 173, lesson 27, item 361, it talks about the purposes of the Mass. And in that section, if you look at the fourth purpose of the Mass, it says, to satisfy the justice of God for the sins committed against him. In other words, every time a Catholic Mass is offered up, it's called the sacrifice of the Mass. That's exactly what it is. Every time that Catholic Mass is offered up by a priest or a bishop or a pope or a cardinal, okay, they believe that the justice of God is being satisfied by that Mass. Oh, yes, they do. In fact, if you don't believe that, you're under one of the curses that were pronounced at the Council of Trent, over 100 curses. That's one of them. So obviously, do I believe that? Of course not. So I'd be deemed a heretic by the Church of Rome. If you look in that same Baltimore Catechism, it says this: the Mass continues the sacrifice of the cross. Each time a Mass is offered, the sacrifice of Christ is repeated. A new sacrifice is not offered, but by divine power, one and the same sacrifice is repeated. You heard it for yourself, item number 359, lesson 27. So, in fact, when you talk to Catholics sometimes, oh no, we didn't repeat it. We're just presenting it again. Oh no, you were probably never a Catholic. Folks, I listened to this for the past 30 years when I witnessed the Catholics. This is the Church of Rome. People are in bondage, okay? It says right here, this is their catechism. This has the imprimatur from the Vatican, folks, which means that everything that is in that book, it has the approval of Rome, of the Church of Rome. So, I'm just quoting to you right from their own teachings. So, I was locked into this stuff. I was believing this stuff until the Lord set me free all the way back in 1989. I give him all the glory. Hallelujah. So, my Bible tells me that it is finished. You'll find that in John chapter 19 and verse 30, where Jesus Christ cried out, "It is finished." Hallelujah. Oh, yes, it's done for, folks. He paid the price. If you look in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verses 11 and 12, it says, "And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God." So that passage right there shuts down the Roman Catholic teaching of the sacrifice of the Mass, okay? This was referring to comparing the Old Testament sacrifices where the priest would offer up the same sacrifices that could not take away sins, and comparing it to the sacrifice of Christ, who offered one sacrifice, and he sat down on the right hand of God. It's good to know, folks, that Jesus sat down. It's done. The Catholic priests, you'll see them on a daily basis, several times a day, all over the world. Think about the thousands upon thousands of Catholic Masses that are being offered up, the sacrifice of the Mass, over and over and over and over and over again. You don't need that, folks. Oh, no. So, the true sacrifice of Christ, folks, it happened at a certain point in time. It was a prophesied point in time. Jesus paid the price. It cannot be repeated again. Oh, no, you cannot repeat it, folks. So when you think of all of this, what they call the Blessed Sacrament, that's the wafer-host after the consecration, transubstantiation. When you think of the unbiblical priesthood, calling him the Holy Father, you think about the confessional booth, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned." You think about purgatory, where people will make donations to have Mass cards, okay? They'll go to the local priest, the parish, to the rectory, and they'll make a donation for a Mass card to have a Mass offered up for their dead relative, uncles, aunts, moms, and dads. They'll do this year after year. And think about all of the millions of people making offerings of $10 for a Mass card, so that Uncle Charlie could get out of purgatory quicker. Think of the billions of dollars. My, oh my, the billions of dollars that are taken in over the years, over the centuries, folks. It's incredible, folks. It is absolutely incredible.